Yeah, I did like living in Kazakhstan.
One of my favorite things about living in Kazakhstan was the diversity there. You might think of Kazakhstan just as plains and steppe and cold, like I did before I moved there. But actually there's a lot of mix of culture there. So what I really liked was getting to know the Kazakh people that are ethnically Kazakh, and also the Russians that live there. And there is a large minority of Koreans that live in Kazakhstan. And that mix of culture was really interesting.
Your mom and I moved to Turkey, spent 4 years in Turkey. Then we moved to China, spent 4 years in China. Then we moved to Azerbaijan, spent 2 years in Azerbaijan. 5 years in the country of Georgia. 3 years in North Macedonia. And then 4 years in Kazakhstan. And now we're completing 1 year here in Wrangell, Alaska.
I lived in China, Azerbaijan, the Republic of Georgia, where else? Skopje, North Macedonia, and now Alaska.
All of those places, my favorite place to live, no offense people here in Wrangell, was Tbilisi, Georgia. It was beautiful. It's a wonderful place to be. The favorite thing about living in Georgia, I think, was, well, the people there are really amazing. I had some really great friends in Georgia, but I also love the fact that there's the city, and it's kind of an ancient as well as a modern city, and then 30 minutes outside I could be off-roading in the mountains in my Land Rover Defender.
This is a really tricky question. Where was my favorite place to live? Every place had its upsides and its downsides. I'm actually going to surprise my son and say that Turkey was my favorite place to live. I think one of the reasons why I love Turkey so much is that we spent a couple of years learning Turkish. There's definitely a different level of understanding the culture and getting to know people and building friendships when you do speak their language. So Turkish is the only international language that I speak, and I enjoyed my time in Turkey very, very much, and really enjoy, even today, connecting with Turkish people in their language.
The Republic of Georgia. That's my favorite.
I really like Skopje. Yeah, it had some nice mountains, cool people.
For me, it's moving a lot. There's no one place that I called my home, because I would constantly move and change, so it's hard. It's challenges making new friends, because every time I moved, I would have to make new friends, different people, and that was hard for me because I'm kind of a shy person.
Like Google Translate, then it's really easy because you can talk to anyone.
You know, so I've lived overseas for over 20 years, and it has gotten easier every year to live overseas and to live in places where you don't understand people, thanks to Google Translate. So actually it wasn't very difficult living, for instance, the gym was my favorite place to go, and my trainer did not speak one word of English. I think he could count to 5 in English, but we just used Google Translate the entire time. So I would ask things and show him in the Russian, and he would respond to me, and we worked it out. So no, it was all right.
You know, I found that most of the people I interacted with spoke English, so it wasn't that difficult.
I didn't go out much. It was kind of cold, but I guess going to the mall was probably the main thing that all the teenagers and the kids did.
My favorite place to go in Kazakhstan was Khan Shatyr, and that's basically the world's largest mall that's in like a circus tent. It looks like an alien spaceship.
The favorite place to go in Kazakhstan? We didn't get out of the city that much, but I think as a family, where did we go? We went to Mega Silkway all the time. We went to the movies, Starbucks, spent a Sunday afternoon there usually. That was a lot of fun. My favorite thing to do in Kazakhstan, on my own, my favorite thing to do? Well, me and my friend Nurlan like to take walks, so we would walk around the city pretty regular. There's a nice Central Park. Remember Central Park? That was nice. In the snow, he and I would walk around and talk and spend a good time together.
I really enjoyed the food. I love Ajaroli Hachapuri. It's this thing in Georgia. It's kind of like a cheese pizza, but made a little differently. And the version that I like the most, it's in like a boat shape, and there's egg and cheese, and then you have to mix it around and it cooks, and then you can rip the bread off on the side and dip it in the middle. It's really good.
Out of every place, in Tbilisi they have this really great dish. It's called kinkali, and it is a dumpling full of meat and a juicy inside, and you eat it in one bite, and it is just wonderful.
It's really tough for me to choose a favorite food because in a lot of the countries we've lived, they've been meat-heavy societies, and I'm a vegetarian. So Astana was very difficult to eat vegetarian because they're a very cold, frigid climate, and the vegetables were really expensive. And their main cuisine is horse meat. Didn't touch that. So I do like Georgian food. I really like Turkish food. They have a lot of vegetables, especially in home cooking in Turkey. So I'm going to say mercimek çorbası, which is lentil soup in Turkey. They drink horse's milk. And as a vegetarian, I do drink milk, so I did try that. And that was for sure the weirdest thing. I think that was probably the weirdest thing I've ever eaten or consumed.
I do. Well, yeah, I mean, they just had Nowruz, which was the beginning of spring a couple weeks ago. And I greeted all of them, told them, Nowruz Bayramı Kutlu olsun, which means Happy Nowruz.
But I definitely, when I was younger, I wanted to move back to Georgia for sure, and I would love to go again.
Evet, biraz Türkçe konuşabilirim. Ama çok unutmuşum. I've forgotten a lot, but I can speak some. My accent's gotten worse, of course, because I don't use it ever. Sure. So the Kazakhs are the ethnic Kazakh people are tribal people, and they have all of that passed down from generations. And I probably should have been paying attention more. I have a great story to pull out of my pocket for you, but I don't off the top of my head. But you know, one thing I think so the Kazakh climate is much colder than this. It's so cold it snows in November, October, November, and the snow stays on the ground for 6 months. And it doesn't snow much after that because it's too cold to snow. But the people there are very, very warm-hearted. And I think the reason is their history. This is not really answering your question. It's a little bit different than what you asked. But they're nomadic people. And so they would find it like historically nomadic people riding horses and traveling, right? And living in what's called yurts. You've probably seen those like sort of rounded tent things, yeah? And so, you know, in that culture, if you find yourself caught out in the cold, you will die if you're left outside. You will not survive very long. And so people let strangers into their home. Hospitality is a huge part of their culture. My favorite experience in Kazakhstan, I mean, we taught in an international school. So we experienced Kazakhstan, but what I loved was, I taught, first I taught 4th grade for a long time, and then I taught high schoolers. And I love the fact that my students were absolutely from all over the world. In fact, I was thinking about the waffle, the way I answered y'all about how I do these Wednesday waffles with my friends. Almost every one of them is a non-native English speaker. So my best friends from Kazakhstan were Kazakh, Russian Kazakh, Pakistani, and Indian. And like none of those, and Mexican. And none of them speak English as a first language. So just like getting to know those cultures, you know, going out to eat and eating. My friend made amazing Indian food. Like I think in every country I've lived in, the country's been great, but the people have been the reason why it was a great experience.
Probably a lot that I know about the places I've lived that most Americans don't know. But let me think, what can I share? One of the interesting things was North Macedonia. We lived there and they changed the name from Macedonia, actually the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, to the name North Macedonia because there was a conflict with Greece and the country of North Macedonia, because Greece and Greek people think Macedonia is only a Greek place and not a different country. So there's some political elements with that was very fascinating.
It's been a long time since we've counted, but I would say we've, as a family, traveled to probably over 25 countries. We've done a lot of traveling. When you know, it's hard for Americans, I think, to understand this concept because America is big and we're over here. But when you get into Europe, you're next to everywhere. So for instance, when we lived just in North Macedonia, we were right next door to Greece. We went to Bulgaria, Romania, Croatia, I mean, just on and on. So yes, I've been to lots and lots of countries.
I think you should travel because it really expands your mind and your point of view, because especially in Wrangell, it's a small town. So if you grew up here, this might be the only thing you know. But once you go outside of it and you travel to even a different state that you've never been to. You can still see all kinds of different people and different cultures and food and clothing, and it's really an interesting experience. It's helped me learn to adapt to different cultures and communities and how to live in a place where I don't speak the language, get around, and yeah.
But why we repatriated to the United States in the first place after 20 years overseas, I have 4 children, and my eldest is in college, and she is in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And so I felt like Kazakhstan was really far away. 100%, I'm obviously 20 years overseas, I'm very pro travel, but I think that you guys should travel because the world is not coming to Wrangell necessarily. There will be some people you will meet that come through Wrangell, and I hope you get a chance when they do come. I hope if you find out there are people that represent different cultures and countries that come here, I hope you're like, hey, let's go grab a coffee, let's go. Can I pick your brain about life where you're from? But in general, you need to go to the world. And the best reason is just, to experience and see things that you never knew existed, that you never dreamed could be possible.